day, viewers. In our previous lesson, we talked about characterization. That is the role played by each character in the blood of a stranger. But today, we're going to talk about the themes, that is the dominant themes in the blood of a stranger. And by God's grace, I'm going to talk about 7 themes today. And I'm going to take them one after the other. So one of the dominant themes in the blood of a stranger is colonialist arrogance and exploitation. So when you look at this theme, it is seen in the life of Whitehead, that is a white man who came into Mandoland. So I have the following points to back it up. Whitehead comes to Mandoland with the feeling of being superior. When he came into Mandoland, he spent 2 days without paying homage to the king, which is his feeling superior. He expects the people to come and greet him. So this behavior of his is reflective to the colonialist master's arrogance in history. Another thing is that the colonial master's mission is exploit. And it is also the same in blood of the stranger. They came into African, most especially Whitehead, came into Sierra Leone with the mission of exploiting the people to get what he wants. That is, he's coming to steal their wealth, but yet he still wants to use the people in service to get what he wants. So another thing is that Whitehead introduced gin spirit drink. So in his arrogancy, he introduced gin spirit drink to the people, and he knew that these people are not familiar with all these drinks. But he has a mission for doing that, to confuse them and take advantage of them, to exploit them. Another thing is that he planned to kill the important people of the land to enable him achieve his aim. That's another arrogant way of the Whitehead's behavior. You know, when he came into the land, he settled into the land, the people that he looked at them as obstacle toward getting what he wants, he planned to eliminate them in order to achieve his devious scheme. So the next theme, which is theme number 2, is patriotism and resistance to oppression. This theme can be seen in the life of Kindo. Kindo, who is the king's son and the warrior of Mando land. The patriotic zeal of Kindo saved Mando kingdom from the hands of Whitehead. He's been patriotic indeed. That is why he stood his ground to defend the land against the exploitation of Whitehead, because he's such a person that can displease himself to see that he pleases the nation. That's one good quality with Kindo. Another thing is that he forced Whitehead to accord King Santigi his deserved respect. You know, when the Whitehead came into the land, he undermined the African culture by not paying homage to the king. But Kindo, in his patriotic zeal, restores it by forcing the Whitehead and showing him where he belonged. And where did he belong? Beneath the king's feet. Force him to kiss the king's feet to accord respect to African tradition. So another thing here is that he constantly monitored Malibu and Soko. This is a very good quality of a patriotic citizen. He knows the people that are problem in the land. And he started monitoring these people even before the arrival of the Whiteheads. And then towards the situation, when they arrived, when they announced the arrival of the Whiteheads, he didn't have confidence in them, because he truly believed that that message wasn't from the gods. Because how can God allow them to welcome strangers into the land when they know that strangers are disease, they are a problem to the people in the land? So that was when he started, he continues to monitor their movements. And another thing here is he called Whitehead and Malibu to order. When the Whitehead arrived Mandoland, he gave the people petty gift and made them drunk with gin spirit drinks, hard drugs. So it was Kindle in his patriotic nature that was able to call Whitehead and Malibu to order, of which, looking at it, it is Malibu that's supposed to take responsibility. But he doesn't have the people at heart. He doesn't have the community at heart. His problem is himself. That's why he couldn't defend the land. But Kindle was always there for the land. Another thing is that Kindle unveiled Whitehead's plan of stealing Mando's diamonds or wealth. This is another aspect that Kindle demonstrated his patriotic nature. You know, because he has been monitoring all these people, so he knows their movements, and he's able to know the real reason that makes Whitehead to come into the land. Because initially he said he's coming to plant tobacco, which is not true. The main aim is to use the people to exploit their wealth, and Kindle is aware of it. He also explained to the people how Whitehead planned and killed Soko, who is a very important person in the land. He's a mediator that tells them stories from the gods, and then he takes it back to the people. So it is Kindle that has the secret of all these evil men in Mando land. And due to his patriotism, he did not only resist operation, but also stamp it out. How did he do that? Because he killed Whitehead. Although he was banished from the land, but he cannot just leave Whitehead alive. So it's better he uproot all the evil and then allow his people to rest in peace. So Kindle has been so patriotic in Mandoland, and even patriotic more than his father, who is Santigi the king. So the third theme here is greed and ambition. This theme ran through the play, and the key characters involved are Whitehead, Malibu, and Soko. These three characters have the same ambition, and Whitehead's ambition is to steal the people's wealth and become rich. That's his ambition of coming into Mando land, to steal their diamond, to be extremely rich. And Malibu and Soko connive with him to carry out his intention to get rich in the process. So these people are supposed to defend the land, but because they have the ambition of becoming rich, and they believe that if they will give the Whitehead support, at least in the process they will also be rich. So this thing is visible in these three characters. And greed set in when they begin to distrust one another. So all of them are greedy. Everyone wants to occupy the diamond, him alone. And there was an argument between the three of them, to the extent that the three of them want Kindle out of their way for them to succeed in their dubious plan. You know, Kindle is such a person that is always sensitive. He sensed trouble in the air. He monitored their movement, and they knew that with Kindle by their sides, they will not achieve their aim. So the only way they could achieve their aim is to eliminate him. So the three of them are of the view of eliminating Kindle. And apart from that, Whitehead also planned to kill Soko and Parker, because these two people do not fit into his scheme of what he has planned to do in Mandoland. He knew that already Soko is not comfortable with what is going on. He has already voiced out to back out of the game. And for Parker, he doesn't have full confidence in him. So he has planned to kill both of them so that he will succeed in his evil plans. And another thing is that Malibu stands the chance of saving Whitehead from death, but he did not. This is because of greediness. He knew that already Soko is dead, Parker is dead, and Kindle is already banished from the land. So right now, he's the only person that will enjoy the diamonds in Mandoland. So he was so greedy. That is why, even when Whitehead was calling him to come to his rescue, he said, "Thank you, Mr. Diamond." That means now the diamond is his. He's the only person that knows about the diamond. And meanwhile, it is Whitehead that exposed to Malibu about the diamond in the land. So these three characters are the reflection of this theme in the play. So the next theme here is uncritical adherence to culture in Mandoland. We have King Santigi, and this King Santigi is too rigid to his culture, to the extent that he finds it difficult to adjust. He finds it difficult to give room for change. He finds it difficult to give room for amendment. And looking at this thing, the king's rigid adherence to tradition in the face of irrevocable change is a major theme in the play. So he is a kind of king that when the gods say this, he stands on it. That is why when Soko informed him about the coming of the stranger into the land, he didn't even question Soko because he so much believed in what the gods have said. And as if cultures are static, Santigi finds it difficult to have a second thought about banishing his son. This is a very important thing that King Santigi failed to do. So it is a law in Mandoland that anybody that kills on peaceful day must be banished from the land. But Kindo has his reason for committing, for doing that, on that peaceful day. But the king couldn't give him listening ear. He couldn't give him second thought of why he committed that thing. And then he went further to banish him from the land, which is unfair. And as a king, he's supposed to look into the reason why it makes Kindo to kill Parker on a peaceful time like that. So he is too rigid, finds it difficult to adjust. There are times that tradition can be amended, but in his own case, he banished his one and only son, who's supposed to be the heir throne of Mando land. But he banished him because of his rigid nature. So the next thing is cultural clash and erosion of customs. There is clash of culture, that is Western and African culture. So in this play, The Blood of a Stranger, we have two clashes, that is Western culture and African culture. So Whitehead was forced to kiss the ground. This is against his culture, but he was made to do that to show a kind of respect to African nation. And then another thing is that smoking of pipe, hard drug intake, and drinking of gin spirits are not African ways of life. But it was Whitehead who introduced this to the youth of Mando land in order to achieve his aim. So another thing is that Soko erodes custom. Soko is supposed to be the observer of culture because he hears from the gods and communicates to the people. But he is the one that erodes the culture. He's supposed to be sleeping in the cave, but he doesn't sleep in the cave. And King Santigi and Whitehead contest animal sacrifice in place of human. Before the sacrificial day, there was a contest or argument between King Santigi and Whitehead. And Whitehead was of a view that animals should be sacrificed. But Santigi said it is a tradition that it is a human being that's supposed to be sacrificed, of which he warned Whitehead not to interfere in their own tradition. So this theme is seen in Whitehead, and then what happened in the land and King Santigi. So the next one, which is number 6, we have moral decadence and corruption. So some characters in the play failed moral test. That's to say that some characters have declined morally. They couldn't speak out the truth to the white man. They didn't maintain their position as moralists. For instance, we have people like Whitehead. Whitehead attempted to rape Wara, which is immoral. And then Whitehead's manipulation of Mando society was aided by the corrupt priest and chief advisor to the king. So these two important people, Soko, who is the shrine chief priest, and Malibu, who is the chief advisor to the king, they're supposed to shine the light. They're supposed to always say the truth. But to my greatest dismay, these two people are the people that support evil. They supported evil in the land through Whitehead. And another thing is that they were ignorant of Whitehead's true motive. So they started supporting him without knowing his real motive. But even when they were aware of his motive, Soko backed out. But Malibu stood his ground to continue with the deal, of which it is unfair. So the last one, which is number 7, justice always wins out against oppression. So this is the last theme that I'm going to talk about today. The white man symbolizes Britain's dread of Sierra Leonean natural resources, and it is also applicable in the blood of a stranger. Whitehead symbolizes a rape of natural resources in Sierra Leone, that is Mandoland, and it didn't end here. His attempt to rape Wara is symbolically raping the natural resources of Mandoland. And through strange gifts, Whitehead took advantage of the people. And when he came into the land, gave them petty gifts and all these drinks in order to take advantage of them, to exploit them to get what he wants. And that is the brain behind all this. So with all this, justice must always win out. And the next one we have Whitehead attempted to rape Wara, but his plan fell. So his plan is to rape Wara. He failed because justice must always find its cause. So Whitehead turned out to be the sacrificial lamb. So looking at it, Wara is supposed to be sacrificed for the coming of Whitehead. But at the end, he turns out to be the sacrificial lamb of atonement, simply because of his wicked plan. And if you look at the title of the play, The Blood of a Stranger, instead of blood of Wara, it is the blood of the stranger that speak out now. So the next one we have, in this book, you discover that Dele Charlie clearly makes the point that justice would always find its cause. Looking at all this that I've talked about, you discover that justice must always prevail in everything. And Wara is innocent, that's why he couldn't rape her. And then the diamond doesn't belong to him, that's why he couldn't get away with it. So everything in this play, we are made to understand that justice always wins out against oppression. So please take note of all this, because you will be asked to explain one of these themes that I've explained. And even if you are asked to write some moral lesson that you have learned about blood of the stranger, you can equally use these themes to bring out your points. So I'm not going to leave you like that. I'm to give you assignments. Number 1, identify 3 themes in the blood of a stranger that can be linked to our own society based on what I've discussed so far. I just want you to identify just 3 themes that can be linked to what is happening in our own society. Number 2, pick any 3 characters of your choice that have similar intentions in the play. State clearly these intentions and how they affect the overall design of the play. So you are to submit it through this address. So goodbye.